Good night, everyone, and welcome to another episode of From a Black Girl's Point of View. I trust that everyone is well and everything is going just the way that you planned it, and if not, seek God so that He can be able to lead you into the direction that you need to go. This is a particular topic that I would really like to dive into, and I would like to get to hear what you guys would have to say based on this topic that I'm about to venture into. The topic is, why is it that men damage good women and turn them into beasts? Or let's say vice versa. Women damage good men and turn them into beasts. Sometimes in life, we find ourselves in situations that are not quite comfortable for us or not where we want to be. But because of certain circumstances, we find ourselves in these positions. And guess what? We decided, you know what? We're here. Let us try to make the best out of it. But making the best out of it is putting yourself at risk and exposure to be treated anyhow, to be treated like if you're nothing, and if you don't have any form of human emotions, for you to be treated as though you have no sense of love, no sense of respect, nothing of the sort. Let's give it a scenario in the case of a relationship where a man is with a woman and you guys decide, you know what, we're gonna have this relationship and we're gonna stick together and we're gonna live together. But in the process of doing that, you recognize that the person that you are with is not who you dream to be with because you are being treated anyhow. You're being disrespected, you're being talked down upon, you're being looked down upon, you're being undermined, you're being humiliated, you're being abused in all forms. And then you ask yourself, why am I facing all of this and all I'm given is nothing but love, respect, understanding, and everything? So what is it that I'm doing wrong for this person to be treating me like that? But in many cases, we need to find the root of the problem and what is really causing us to be in position that we really do not need to be in. Many of us are in relationships with men who don't know how to recognize love, or women who don't know how to recognize when they are being loved. When love is being poured out to them, they do not know what is love because they would have never been loved. Many people that we are in relationships with, they would have been in broken homes. They don't know what the love from a mother feels like, what the love from a father feels like. All they grew up seeing is turmoil, pain, hurt, abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse. They would have been growing up in some situations that is really not conducive for a human being to grow up in. So guess what? They have trauma that they did not deal with. They have trauma that they did not get therapeutic interventions to deal with. These traumas are there and they are unhealed traumas. The traumas are unhealed traumas. So if you are in a relationship with somebody who would have been in the total opposite of situation as it relates to growing up in a family where there is love, where there is attention, where there's understanding, where there is peace, and you meet with somebody who has unhealed trauma, they don't know how to recognize of what do you think that you will get. All they know is pain and aches and hurts and abuse. So you're going to in turn get all of that, and you question yourself to know, why am I going through all of this? Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody when you recognize that this person is doing something wrong and you bring it to their attention and they fail to acknowledge what they did? They will be able to give you so many justification as it relates to why they did what they did. That is not your fault. That is a fault of unhealed trauma. That is a fault of somebody being in a toxic environment that doesn't really know how to differentiate what is right from wrong. I mean, yes, it's evident that we're old enough and we're supposed to be able to differentiate what is right from wrong. But when there is unhealed trauma, you do not know what is right from wrong because you are all the time in a defensive mode. You are all the time in a defensive mode, and even if somebody pours love out to you, you are going to be defensive to kindness, to love, to respect, to adherence, to everything, because all you know in your life was heartaches, pains, abuse, yelled at, shout at, obscene language. You don't know how to appreciate when somebody loves you or when somebody shows you love. It is important for us to be able to identify the root cause of why it is that people who don't know how to appreciate someone will turn someone who's filled with love, who's filled with grace, who's filled with understanding into a beast. And the cycle of traumatic events continues, because if this person understands, or if this person tells themselves that all I'm giving this person is love, I'm attention, understanding, I'm being loyal, and I get nothing but resentment and hatred and mistreated in return, the next person that I come into contact with will have to feel the wrath. And hypothetically speaking, the person that they might come into contact with is nothing like the person that they would have left. So we need to understand that traumatic events play an important part in a negative way in our lives if they're not being dealt with, because we will be able to damage good people with good and great intentions. And most times women are the one who feels the burden the most in these type of situations, because men will have it at the back of their mind, women are this and women are that and women are not to be trusted, and every other woman or any woman that comes into my life, I'm going to give her what she deserves. I'm not going to be loyal, I'm not going to provide, I'm not going to respect her, nothing of the sort. So all I'm going to give to her is what a gangster is supposed to give. But you are destroying a peaceful woman. You are destroying a woman who has good intentions for you. You are destroying a woman who has nothing but respect for you. You are destroying a future partner that is willing to work with you, but because of the fact that you have unhealed trauma based on what you would have passed through, you are there in defensive mode. With that being in defensive mode, somebody who's kind and caring and is the total opposite of you, continuously treating that person like they mean absolutely nothing to you, can also destroy that person and put them into beast mode to be harsh to any other person that comes into contact with them, because automatically they are going to be in defensive mode. We've got to be able to recognize what undealt with trauma that has not been dealt with, what it looks like. We need to be able to vet people before we enter into relationships with them. We need to understand not everybody that walks this road is sane. Everybody that walks this road, they're peaceful. Everybody that walks around, oh yeah, this person is cool. People are dealing with so many unspoken things that we know nothing about. We need to understand that we have to protect our peace. We need to understand when we identify certain red flags, we need to get away from them, because we do not want ourselves to be damaged in turn. We need to understand not everybody that says that they want a relationship, they're ready for a relationship and knows how to treat people. We need to be able to identify what we really want and what we're looking for and what we truly deserve as human beings. I'm talking to both men and women. No way or form I'm going to be one-sided. There are also women who knows nothing about love, who would have been abused, misused, all forms of abuse. And guess what? When they do enter a relationship and a man is showing them love, they don't know how to identify the love, because all their lives they have been hurt, taken advantage of. And guess what? Anybody that comes into contact with them, their plan is to hurt them because they are hurt. And all of the years of pains and suffering that they would have been going through, they built a defense mechanism to hurt whosoever comes into play. They don't care if you have good intentions or not. So in turn, you're damaging somebody else who has good intention and good love towards you. And the cycle of traumatic events goes on. We need to understand that people have things that they're dealing with. that they don't speak about, that things are that are unhealed, past traumatic events that still plays a serious role in their mental space. People have mental disorders that some of us don't even know the signs in which we can identify them. We need to understand that not everybody knows what love looks like. We need to protect our peace. We need to protect ourselves, and we need to protect our standards and what we really stand for, and not find ourselves in positions that we don't deserve to be in. I trust that this topic that was discussed tonight really meant something to you. And if it is that you have anything that you want to say or any form of contribution that you may want to contribute, you can also do that in the comment section. I'll be posting this video on TikTok, Facebook, so that it could reach who it needs to reach. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for always watching and tuning in. I'll see you next time.